Welcome to the deep dive, and today we're stepping outside, figuratively at least. We're embarking on a fascinating journey into the profound benefits of spending time in nature.
Right. It's one of those things we sort of intuitively know is good for us, isn't it?
hmm
But actually articulating why, that
Yeah,
can be trickier.
exactly. And what's really intriguing about this particular deep dive is our, well, unexpected source material. We're actually using a very simple how-to guide for English learners as our springboard.
Okay, a guide for English learners. That sounds maybe a bit unconventional for this kind of deep dive, given simplicity.
It does, right. You might be thinking, where are we possibly going with this? But here's the genius of it, I think. This guide, because it has to be simple, strips away all the complexity.
Oh, okay.
It forces us to look at the fundamental, the universal reasons why connecting with the outdoors is so beneficial. It just cuts right to the core.
That's the brilliance. So its simplicity actually becomes a lens. It reveals these fundamental truths about our connection to nature that might get buried in, like complex scientific jargon.
Right. It helps us understand what is really important at the base level.
Makes sense.
So we're definitely not giving an English lesson today. Instead, we're using this structured, really accessible guide to unpack the core advantages of outdoor activities, how they impact us physically, mentally, and socially.
So it's like decoding the universal language of well-being,
Yeah.
but using this unexpected framework. Okay, I'm curious to see what we uncover.
And for you, our listener, whether you maybe need that little nudge to get outside more, or you already love it and just want the words to explain why it feels so vital.
Or maybe you're just curious about the science behind that feeling, that calm you get in fresh air.
Yeah, exactly. This deep dive is for you. So, let's explore. The guide kicks things off, quite logically, with vocabulary. And what's striking is how having the right words isn't just for language learners. It's crucial for everyone to really understand and talk about their experiences.
Absolutely. Words are such powerful tools for self-awareness. When we can name something, we can get a better handle on its essence and communicate why it matters.
And the guide immediately starts categorizing activities, which I found quite insightful. It lists things like hiking, camping, jogging, cycling, gardening, swimming, and picnicking.
It's a great list, really diverse. And what's fascinating is how each activity, even though they seem simple, taps into really distinct aspects of our well-being. It goes beyond just saying being outside is good.
Right. Hiking, for instance, often involves a physical challenge, pushing your limits.
Yeah, definitely. But then camping, that's more about a deeper unplugging, isn't it? A deliberate disconnection from, like, the everyday grind.
Totally. And jogging targets cardiovascular health, that burst of energy.
While cycling combines the physical with exploration, that sense of discovery as you move through a landscape.
Even gardening, which might seem more, I don't know, low-key, it offers that hands-on connection, a sort of meditative unwinding. It really highlights that nature isn't just one thing.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It kind of adapts to our different needs.
Precisely. And this clarity carries over into how the guide breaks down the benefits. It identifies physical health gains, increased strength, better fitness levels.
But just as importantly, it emphasizes the mental health side. Peace, calmness, happiness, and crucially, stress relief.
That reduction in anxiety, that feeling of being grounded, these are things we all need more of, I think. They're mental health essentials in our busy lives.
Definitely. And we can't overlook the social dimension either. Building friendships, teamwork, strengthening bonds. Like, a group hike is so much more than just exercise, right?
Oh, absolutely. It really solidifies relationships. And then there's that overarching feeling of rejuvenation, feeling recharged, lively, refreshed, ready to sort of take on the world again.
It's all interconnected, isn't it? Yeah. The specific activity you choose directly influences the mix of benefits you experience and how you feel afterwards. That simple insight from the guide actually reveals a pretty complex interplay.
Yeah, it does. The guide also provides a list of nature words, forest, mountain, lake, beach, sunlight, fresh air. These aren't just words, they're like keys to vividly describing the places where these experiences happen.
Exactly. And by also listing emotions relaxed, excited, refreshed, happy, it connects the physical environment directly with our internal state. It emphasizes those good vibes we feel.
Yeah.
But what I found perhaps most profound was the guide's practice tip.
You mean pairing an activity with a benefit and a feeling? Like hiking improves my cardiovascular health. It makes me feel invigorated. That one.
Yes. It's such a simple framework, but really powerful. It encourages a level of mindfulness, helping you, the listener, to consciously recognize and articulate the specific impacts of your time outdoors.
It shifts it from just passive enjoyment to more active appreciation, maybe?
Precisely.
Mhm.
It's about being able to say, okay, when I do this, this is genuinely how I feel and why.
So once we have that foundational vocabulary, the guide moves into something equally critical for actually communicating all this.
Which is mastering key sentence structures.
Hmm.
And again, this isn't just about grammar, it's about clarity and impact when you talk about those benefits we just discussed.
Because clear structures are vital for everyone, right? Regardless of what language you're speaking. If you can't structure it, the meaning gets lost.
Absolutely. The guide starts super basic, like, I enjoy swimming. Simple, direct, subject, verb, object.
Yeah.
But then it builds. It shows how to connect an activity to its benefit. Swimming is good exercise. Getting a bit more informative.
And then, crucially, adding the why or the reason. I swim because it's refreshing. That simple addition just changes the depth of the statement completely.
It really does. It establishes that cause and effect relationship that allows for genuine personal connection. Then, the guide shows how to combine these elements for more complex, but still clear, sentences. Things like, I love cycling because it keeps me fit, or gardening helps me feel grounded.
What's remarkable is how these simple structures, once you kind of get them, become the building blocks for much richer, more descriptive language.
Exactly. And that leads us neatly into enriching language with adjectives and adverbs. So instead of a kind of flat, air makes me feel good,
Right.
we can say fresh air makes me feel good, or even better, breathing the crisp, fresh air makes me feel instantly revitalized.
Or instead of, I feel better after a run, maybe I usually feel much better after a brisk run. That word brisk adds so much.
It paints a picture. And the guide encourages these evocative combinations. The majestic mountains made our hike unforgettable, or I happily swam in the crystal clear lake. These phrases just transport you, don't they?
They really do.
The guide also stresses using connecting words like because, since, or as to state reasons. This is where it moves beyond just describing something to really explaining the why behind it.
So it's not just stating a fact, like camping is relaxing, but articulating the personal impact. I go camping because it helps me disconnect from technology. That's the value.
Exactly. Or, since walking is easy on my joints, I do it every day. And, as nature is inherently calming, I feel more relaxed outdoors. This focus on why, even in simple language, reveals something pretty profound about our motivation for connecting with nature.
It gives you, the listener, the power to explain why these activities are personally valuable, to move beyond just saying, oh, I like to be outside, to a deeper understanding of cause and effect for yourself. Okay, so with that vocabulary and those structures kind of in our toolkit, let's dive deeper into the specific benefits, maybe elevating them beyond just the guide's initial points.
Absolutely. Let's kick off with physical health. The guide offers useful phrases like, it boosts my stamina, it helps me maintain a healthy weight, and it strengthens my core muscles. Basic, but good starting points.
But the real insight comes when you apply them more specifically, right? So for example, when I go for a long hike, I don't just walk. I'm actively building cardiovascular endurance and burning a significant number of calories. It connects the activity to real physiological outcomes.
Exactly. Or cycling regularly not only improves my leg strength, but also contributes to a healthier heart. And for you, our listener, think about your own fitness goals. These outdoor activities offer a fun, often, more engaging alternative to just hitting the gym.
I certainly prefer the open air to a treadmill. Okay, now on to mental health, which feels incredibly crucial in our fast-paced world.
Totally agree. The guide suggests phrases like, it helps me declutter my mind, it alleviates my anxiety, and it fosters a sense of tranquility. And that sense of tranquility, for instance, it isn't just subjective, is it? There's science behind it.
Right, like the biophilia hypothesis, that idea we have an innate pull towards nature.
Precisely. It helps explain that profound sense of peace many people feel. And the examples the guide might inspire are so relatable. After spending time walking in the woods, I feel a significant reduction in my stress levels. That's not just a feeling, it's often a measurable physiological response.
Yeah, you mentioned cortisol earlier.
Indeed. Studies consistently show being in nature lowers levels of cortisol, our main stress hormone. And another example, gardening provides me with a sense of focus and accomplishment, which is incredibly calming. It's almost like an active form of meditation for some people.
It really underscores how outdoor time isn't just leisure activity, it's a powerful tool for mental well-being. It directly impacts our mood and how we manage stress.
Okay, next up, the social benefits. The guide gives us phrases like, it's a fantastic way to connect with others, and I've met some wonderful people through outdoor clubs. It's all about building community, isn't it?
It really is. And the examples that spring from that are powerful. Going camping with a group of friends creates lasting memories and strengthens our relationship. Those shared challenges, maybe even the mishaps.
Oh, yeah. Those forge incredibly strong bonds. Or playing team sports outdoors like soccer helps me build camaraderie and connect with others who share my interests. It shows how these activities naturally weave a social fabric.
Whether it's that mutual support you give someone on a tough part of a hike, or just the simple joy of sharing a picnic, these are moments that build real connection and belonging.
Couldn't agree more. Finally, the guide touches on environmental benefits, wisely connecting our activities to a greater appreciation for the natural world itself.
Yeah, phrases like choosing active transport options reduces my environmental impact, and being outdoors makes me more aware of conservation efforts are key here.
Cycling to work instead of driving helps lower carbon emissions. That's a really concrete example of this. It's a personal choice, but it has a wider impact. And hiking through diverse ecosystems highlights the importance of protecting these natural habitats. It's like direct experiential education. It fosters this positive feedback loop. The more we benefit from nature, the more motivated we become to protect it.
It shifts from maybe an abstract concern about the environment to a really deeply personal motivation for stewardship, which is powerful. Okay, so we've delved into the quite profound benefits that even this simple guide helps reveal. Now let's explore how the guide helps us add a bit more personality to our language when we're talking about these experiences.
Right, this is where we kind of elevate the conversation beyond just the literal facts. The guide introduces idioms and phrasal verbs, which are like the secret ingredients that add flavor and nuance to our language.
They let us capture quite complex meanings in a really concise, often informal way, making our descriptions much richer, I think. For example, the idiom blow off steam.
Blow off steam, yeah.
Yeah.
Meaning to release pent-up energy or stress.
Right.
After a really demanding day at work, I often go for a jog just to blow off steam. It perfectly captures that need for physical release.
It does. Then there's in the fresh air. Simple, but effective.
Meaning just outdoors, basically. I always feel more invigorated when I spend time in the fresh air. It's evocative without being overly complicated.
And recharge your batteries.
Meaning to restore your energy. A weekend camping trip up in the mountains really helps me recharge my batteries. These idioms are kind of like shortcuts to sounding more natural, more native-like.
Yeah, they really are. And phrasal verbs are equally valuable. Take work out.
Meaning to exercise. I try to work out by cycling several times a week. Then wind down, meaning to relax. Gardening in the evening really helps me wind down before bed.
And catch up. Meaning to spend time and converse with someone. We often catch up with friends over a picnic in the park. These aren't just vocabulary items. They're sort of the linguistic muscle that allows for authentic, fluid conversation.
Absolutely. Incorporating these into your vocabulary truly enhances your fluency. It's like adding spices to your cooking. It just makes your language more flavorful and natural.
And the guide doesn't just stop at the language itself. It actually gives some pretty practical advice on navigating conversations about outdoor activities.
Right, because knowing the words is one thing. Knowing how to use them effectively to connect with other people is another skill entirely. It breaks down starting, maintaining, and even ending conversations smoothly.
For starting, it suggests things like open-ended questions. Do you enjoy spending time outdoors? Simple, but it works. Or sharing your own opinion first. I find hiking incredibly rewarding. What about you?
You're essentially inviting others to engage. And for keeping the conversation going, it emphasizes active listening, adding your own related details, and asking follow-up questions. It's about showing genuine engagement.
Like saying, oh, I totally agree, being close to nature is so calming, then adding a little detail. And I find it's also a great way to spot local birds.
Yeah, perfect. And showing genuine interest with a follow-up. Have you explored any new trails recently? It's like that tennis match analogy. You hit the ball back and forth, keeping the rally going.
Exactly. And finally, ending gracefully, maybe summarizing the main points. So it sounds like we both find a lot of value in spending time outdoors, just maybe in slightly different ways.
Or suggesting future interactions. Well, maybe we could plan a hike together sometime. It's about leaving a positive impression and keeping that door open for future connection.
The guide also touches on adapting your language to different situations, which is so crucial for effective communication, what linguists sometimes call code switching.
Absolutely. The level of formality really influences your word choice, sentence structure, even your tone. In a casual chat with friends, you might say something like, "Man, I love hitting the trails. It's so chill and just good for my head. It's relaxed." Uses slang.
Or getting some outdoor time is just the best way to unwind, you know. That's definitely how I talk to my friends.
But then in a more formal setting, perhaps giving a presentation, you'd switch. You'd opt for clearer, more precise language. Engaging in outdoor recreational activities offers significant physiological and psychological benefits. The tone shifts, becomes more objective, more authoritative.
And for writing, say, an essay, the guide suggests using connecting words like firstly or furthermore for structure, plus more detailed explanations, maybe even citing evidence.
For instance, you might write, "Furthermore, studies have indicated that exposure to natural light can positively influence our circadian rhythms and sleep patterns." It's all about knowing your audience and tailoring your message for maximum impact.
It really demonstrates the versatility needed for truly effective communication about, well, anything, really. The guide also does a good job, I think, of addressing common communication challenges. And these aren't just for language learners, they affect everyone sometimes.
That's true. Like forgetting a specific word, it happens to all of us. The guide suggests using a more general description as a fallback. You know, that activity, the one where you walk in the forest for fun.
Or it's like that thing where you sleep outside in a tent. You still get the message across, even if hiking or camping momentarily escapes you.
Exactly. Pronunciation can also be a hurdle for some people. The guide specifically flags words like hiking and relaxed as potentially tricky. And the advice is straightforward. Listen to how native speakers say them. Practice.
And finally, confidence, or lack thereof. The guide encourages starting small, maybe even just practicing by talking to yourself about your outdoor experiences. It reminds us that making mistakes is completely natural.
It really is. It's a necessary part of the learning process.
Yeah.
Don't let the fear of saying something imperfectly hold you back from sharing your experiences and connecting with others.
So true. And what's also really insightful, I thought, were the cultural nuances the guide touches upon. It acknowledges that different English-speaking cultures might value or talk about outdoor activities in slightly different ways.
Yeah, this is a subtle but really important point. In some cultures, the emphasis might be more on the physical challenge, conquering a mountain, that kind of thing.
Right.
While in others, it might be more focused on peaceful restoration, a therapeutic stroll through the park.
Being aware of these potential differences just fosters deeper connection and more respect when you're talking to people from different backgrounds.
And the guide wisely cautions against making broad generalizations. So instead of just assuming everyone loves going to the beach, for example.
Which might not be true.
Exactly. It's better to ask open questions like, do you enjoy spending time by the sea? This respects individual preferences and avoids stereotypes.
It's really about building a sort of cultural bridge, isn't it? Recognizing that language and culture are deeply intertwined and that understanding makes our communication much more effective and sensitive. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, it's kind of amazing how a surprisingly simple English language guide actually provided a really powerful lens for understanding the profound and universal benefits of being outdoors.
Yeah, for our bodies, our minds, and our social connections.
It illuminated how having the vocabulary, the structures, and maybe just the confidence to articulate these benefits really enriches our own experiences.
And it fosters genuine connection with others who share that passion for nature, or maybe helps us introduce that passion to someone new.
So for you, our listener, we'll leave you with this thought. How can you, maybe starting today or this week, weave even small moments of outdoor time into your daily routine? Even 5 minutes makes a difference.
And consider what positive effects that could have on your life, what unexpected shifts might occur if you made that a consistent practice.
And perhaps, inspired by our conversation today, just reach out to someone, a friend, a colleague, a family member, and start a conversation about their favorite way to experience nature, spread that outdoor love a little.
Great suggestion.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.